Wise Business Analyst Chika Mbonu, and we're chiefly going into the NNPC. But Chika, as usual, we have to get your thoughts on this rate hike. What do you make of it?
I mean, as Chuma said, the whole world, the whole central bank governors are chasing after inflation, and so everybody is increasing their rates, their base rates, and you and me know that the base rate determines the direction of interest rate in the economy.
Right.
So ours have been moved from 13 to 14%.
Yes.
And which means, therefore, that shortly you'll be getting letters from your banks saying that your loans to them has been moved up by some percentage points. Yeah. Unfortunately, sometimes you will not see banks writing letters to depositors saying that their interest rates on their deposits have also been moved up.
Right.
And they try to, get some, headroom there in the net interest margin. But I mean, the issue therefore is what's the efficacy of this CBN initiative. Remember, I said it the other day that a simplistic definition of inflation is when too much money is pushing too few goods. Yeah. And so, if you want to moderate inflation, therefore, you say too much money, bring down the too much money to make money less in the economy. And that's what CBN has done. Basically, increasing interest rates, it makes it more expensive to borrow, and then less people will borrow. And therefore, the quantum of money in the economy will reduce. Yes. But remember, there's a right side of the equation, which is the goods. Yes. It has to do with the availability of goods. It presupposes that every item being equal, the production is going on very well, supply chain is smooth. Therefore, that's when this interest rate thing works. But if we have, these hiccups in supply chain, as we have now, substantially the inflation that we have around now is driven by more the supply side. And so the problem, therefore, is as you're increasing these interest rates, because remember, they want to move from 11.5 by 150 basis points to 13. Yeah. Has it moderated the inflation? No. When the figures came out, the inflation still went up. Yeah. And so that moved up the interest rate again to 14%. And let's see what will happen. Yeah. If we don't address the issues on the supply side, nothing will happen. The inflation will continue to run away. And I'm actually worried because I don't see. I look at the horizon. I told you this about some time ago, about 2 or 3 months ago, that it is the day that this leakage, the plug is plugged, which is the Russian-Ukraine war, is the latest trigger to this inflation run. Until that is sorted out, we may still have this continuing. And so the supply side has to be addressed because look at fertilizer supply is limited. In Nigeria, for example, security is so getting worse. So food supply is limited, and plus other things. So that supply is the problem. And as far as that is not addressed, the next month's figure for inflation, I don't think this 14% will move a needle.
Chika, thank you so much. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. You please stick around with us to talk oil and gas after the break. It's the Global Business Report. Do stay tuned. Welcome back to the Global Business Report on the Rise News. Airline Aero Contractors has announced, as a Nigerian airline, that it would suspend passenger flights operations indefinitely from Wednesday, July the 20th. In the statement issued Monday, the airline's management said the decision was a result of the challenging operating environment it faced daily. Airline said the situation was made worse as some of its aircraft were undergoing maintenance and unavailable for use. However, the airline did say its decision does not affect its maintenance and training services, as well as helicopter and charter operations. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari has unveiled the new Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, a landmark event that officially changes the oil firm from a wholly state-run entity to a commercial oil company limited by shares. The NNPC Limited is expected to be managed as an commercial and a profit-driven enterprise, unlike its former dispensation. The unveiling took place at the Presidential Banquet Hall in Abuja. The official unveiling came weeks after the corporation transitioned into a company whose operations will be regulated by the Companies and Allied Matters Act. The legal transition is based on the new Petroleum Industry Act, which took effect July 1st. We still have Arise business analyst Chika Mbonu with us to discuss further. Chika, I think you watched the proceedings.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually a good day for Nigeria.
Yeah.
A good day for Nigeria. And I said that because of where this may lead us to.
Right.
And I did a small, I hope you have this stuff.
Yes,
here.
we do. The comparison you made.
I did and where this will lead us to.
Yeah.
I did a small study.
Yeah.
There's so many national oil companies.
Yes.
Indeed, there's a report that says about the national oil companies, contribute about 80% of the oil supply in the world.
Yes.
In the world. So I did a little study on the national oil companies.
Yeah.
Just three of them:
Yeah.
Aramco, Saudi Aramco, Petrobras, and Rosneft.
Rosneft in Russia, yeah.
And I'm saying this because for Nigeria, that it's a good day for us, and that if we get this right, this is where we'll probably get to. Saudi Aramco is about 89 years old.
Yeah.
Petrobras is about 69 years old, and Rosneft is 9 years old. Now, if you consider that Saudi Aramco revenue in 2021 was about $360 billion.
That's lots. Gosh.
$360 billion. Wow. And their operating net income was about $110 billion. That for Petrobras was about $20 billion. And Rosneft is about $228 billion.
Yes.
You will note that, things, if you get it right,
yes.
It will be good for the country. And if you look through the whole chart I put up there, it's same profile as this NNPC Limited that the country is trying to build.
Yes.
Aramco, for example, is owned 98.5% today by Saudi Arabian government.
Right.
So it's still owned by Saudi
by the states.
The state. The government of Brazil owns about 50.26 of the Petrobras. The other portion is quoted in the stock exchange, right? Which is also where we want our NNPC Limited to
the
be
IPO.
IPO.
Yeah.
And Rosneft is owned by about 70% by the Russian government. The other part are in other hands, including the exchange. So it means that if you get it right, and I say it's a good day for Nigeria,
you'll be analyzing NNPC.
NNPC financial.
On this chart.
You do recall that. Again, the good day for Nigeria, where are we coming from? It's only during the tenure of this new MD, current MD of NNPC, that NNPC for the first time published his accounts, for citizens to see.
Yeah.
Before that, it has been an opaque black box that nobody knew what was happening. And so I celebrate that. I commend the president. Even as he said, it's very uncanny that when NNPC was born, he was there, the original NNPC Corporation. Yeah. When this new NNPC Limited is born, also it's him that's called a tape. So we'll give him that credit and thank everybody who has made this happen. And my celebrations stop there. And and because Nigeria Airways had a limited in it.
That's correct.
Nigerian National Shipping Line had a limited in it. Ajokuta still had a limited in it. So the migration from a corporation to a limited company by shares and on its own does not make for the company suddenly that things will change. Yeah. But we knew of the NNPC of the past. We knew the kind of things that were happening there, and we knew that the politicians saw it as an ATM, for things they want to do and so on and so forth. If you wanted somebody that has a filial or emotional relationship with you to work, that's where you write things on your back of the envelope, on back of your card, for them to go and work. So human capital policies were not based on the best principles. And indeed, the staffing, I'm sure, is overloaded. So as I celebrate this thing, as I said, it's not just the limited that is the name now that suddenly transforms everything. Because for a company to succeed this way, there are some critical social factors required. One of them is superior corporate governance. So what has happened also is the old board, the board just transited, and the MD changed his nomenclature overnight to group CEO.
Yeah.
So this the CFO, everything. So I'm aware that they have the best consultants there. McKinsey is there, PwC is there, KPMG is there. And as I always say, when I was a young consultant, I did some work on NMTC, on this transformation of NMTC to the best practices. But I see in those days, once we finish, everything's put on the shelf and to rust or to gather dust. So we hope that this time around, it is for good.
Yeah.
Nigerian Airline is a government-owned company.
Yep.
But nobody goes to send his brother to go and fly the planes when they're not qualified.
Right.
Or to go and repair the plane as engineers when they're not qualified. So we ask for superior corporate governance in this new dispensation, quality board that will decide issues on the best practices. We ask for the best human capital policies with a round peg and round hole analysis to make sure that the staff who are there are the best fit for the different positions. And contractual relationships are based on fully arm's length basis. All the issues, luckily, they are signed to the worldwide NATI standards to make sure that contracts are done at arm's length and value for money spending, And so those are the issues critical, for the NMPs to work. We do not need to go far to tell you that this works. I've shown you
the
numbers. But even in our nation, we don't need to go far. About NLNG.
Yes, exactly. You talk about NLNG all the time when you talk about that gas. Yes.
Because of the fact that it's owned about 51% approximately by multinationals, and Nigeria owns the silent owner.
Yeah.
And the company has been left to run on best corporate governance.
Exactly.
And this company, this LNG serves our economy, our country, especially at the beginning of the tenure of the current president. Yeah. The kind of dividends they were pushing in. And so we know that if NNPC is done properly, we have seen the figures from Aramco. Yeah. We've seen the figures from NLNG. Yeah. Things will work. Yeah. Let it not be Nigerian Airways. Let it not be Nigerian Nation Shipping Line. Let it not be Ajokota Steel Limited. Because if this is going to work, it depends on the political side to give those who are running the corporation arm's length freedom to run the corporation. Nigerian Airline is working. Yeah. Aramco is working. Petrobras is working. Indeed, Petrobras is a very interesting one. Because within since 2019, when the current president came into power in Brazil, they have had 3 CEOs.
Yes.
They've had 3 CEOs.
That's correct.
And what's the issue? The issue has to do with fuel price. Yeah. The people who are running the business in Petrobras believe that we're a public company, and so we should mark the market the price of fuel. Yeah. The president now is going for election, and is very unpopular. So he thinks that it's going to cause riot and whatever. And so each time he's going to the assembly to get motions to remove the CEO. The current one just left in this June because of the issue of fuel price. So we don't want that kind of interference. Yeah. So what are the things that are the issues that may happen? The current NMPC Limited, the new NMPC Limited says we're a business venture. Yeah. We will be importing fuel just like we've been importing fuel. Yeah. We'll be like an Oando or who other company that imports fuel?
Texaco, the downstream members,
Now, but we will bring fuel. Yeah. At the right commercial price, and put it in our books at the right commercial price, and sell it in quote to the government at the right commercial price. It's the responsibility of the government now to do subsidy if they want. Yeah. There will be no subsidy in our books because we have been set up to do what? Make profits. Yeah. So we're importing, we're like a private company like Oando now. So we bring in the products. We sell it to government at a commercial price. Just like if Oando brings products, if you sell it to the government at commercial rate, if the government wants, let them give it out to free. That's the government's problem. Yeah. So the NMPC Limited books will be profit. But they have to declare dividends. Right. Now there'll be issues again. You had the Minister of Finance talk about it, the FAC allocation.
Yes.
What will happen there?
Yeah.
Because now there'll be no more rushing to Abuja to go and share things.
Yeah.
Everybody has to wait for what now? End of year when dividends are what? Declared.
Yeah.
Before things that happen. Unless they're going to be collecting dividends in advance.
It doesn't work that way.
So there are a couple of gray areas that will work out. We'll see how it will pan out as the days come by.
Yeah.
But then for me, I've identified the critical set of factors is superior corporate governance. Will the MD or the group CEO that he calls himself now still be someone to Aso Rock to be giving the instructions to do what to do?
Right.
Employment policies will need to be like that. The Minister for Petroleum, the NNPC used to warehouse his back office. The new NNPC Limited is a private company.
Right.
He has nothing to do with it.
Right.
His own stuff in policies and procedures now, policies. And the policies that will be used to run the company by the board of NNPC, board of NNPC. And so those are the issues, and we hope that these figures I was salivated you with will become our portion very soon, and Nigeria will have dividends to give out at the end of the day from these companies.
Thank you for that, Chika. Chika, we still want you to please talk about the aviation sector.
Okay.
This aero contractor matter. And what's been going on?
All right.
Yeah.
See,
there's so many issues to discuss. Yeah.
One of the things I want to I'm looking for the nice analogy. It's like when the house is on fire, or a house is burning, or a supermarket is burning, or a shopping mall is on fire.
Yeah.
You just take out the money that you have and go and hide it. And then when the banks come, you tell them that the money you wanted to give to them was is a fire. It's a fire.
Yeah.
It's a fire that cost it. It will not be proper or right to ascribe what has happened to aero contractors as due to the current happenings. Okay? That we have heard for some time now in the last 1 month, where the AON have been talking about the increase in fuel aviation prices.
Yeah.
It is not that. The problem of aero contractors starts from going to do the analytics of how it ended up in AMCON's hands.
Right.
How did a once thriving airline, the best in all standards, a very clean safety record, serving all the oil companies in Nigeria, and so on and so forth, not suddenly, and ultimately end up in AMCON hands. So that's actually the story here. How did that happen?
Yeah.
That's the story here.
Sorry, just for our viewers, AMCON, of course, is the Asset
Management Commission, and I'm going to come to that.
Okay.
Asset Management Commission of Nigeria is basically, for our viewers, basically when companies have taken loans from banks and they cannot service those loans, and those loans have gone bad. Instead of it being in the books of the banks and hurting the banks, this asset management is like a bad asset bank.
Right. That's a good analogy.
Bad asset bank. So it takes over those bad loans from the book of banks, so the banks can continue to do their work while this AMCON manages the bad loans. So that is the first problem. Because once the company enters into AMCON, it's on life support.
Right. It is.
So from the time that aero contractors entered into AMCON's hands, it was already on life support.
Wow.
And so, the thing,
of course.
the analogy of winning on life support.
Yeah. I mean.
in the life support in Nigeria, where there's no NEPA, there may not be oxygen, may not be there.
Right.
And so that's where the problem is. So being on life support means that the subsequent circumstances can actually trigger it off. So now, hear me out. And I'm saying this to the whole aviation industry. When a company is in the distress, kind of distress that the aero contractor was, it requires special kind of skills.
Right.
When a company is distressed, the way that aero contractor was, it requires special kind of skills to turn it around. You don't have to be a pilot to do it.
Right.
Nigeria has this style that must appoint pilots as MD of airlines. It's a business like a hospital.
Right.
A lot of the best hospitals in the world or airlines in the world are not run by pilots. It's a business. So it requires particular kind of skills. Once that happened, it didn't happen. To appoint those kind of people to turn around the airline. It requires particular kind of actions also. Nothing happened on the staff strength.
Exactly, which was still large.
Large.
Yeah.
At the time, I think that they had about 700 staff. With one or two. At the time, they had only one airline.
Right.
One aircraft, sorry.
How do you make enough money to pay those salaries and everything?
The unions and the management didn't agree on what to do.
Right.
Reduce salary. When things like this happen abroad, what do you do? You reduce staff strength, you reduce salary, so that the company can survive and breathe. And when you turn it around, a lot of things can be reverted. When business comes again, those that you told to go, we call them back.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But this didn't happen here. And so the same airline that is, remember, was on life support,
right,
is still carrying the same number of people. Aircrafts were like, the aircrafts, a lot of the aircrafts were 77 Classic. Most of them have passed their sell-by dates. It's like your car being seized by the police people or whatever and dumped somewhere, and they find that to go and collect it is more than the value of the car. So you just abandon. So most of the aircraft had become so old that even the maintenance requiring to pay them just is not worth it. Before this thing happened, they had only one aircraft, Cali Air, and that was the aircraft bought by Cross-River State government. For what the government wanted to do. So that's the only aircraft they had.
Wow.
One aircraft.
It's tough. Very tough situation.
So yes, there are issues in the industry about aviation fuel and all those. Those made worse, exacerbated, led it to this situation he has now to shut down operation. But the challenges and problems of aero preceded this circumstance.
Wow.
How did a once thriving airline end up in unconcerned? Because once the enters unconcerned, it's on life support. And the aviation industry, I keep telling you, I've said it several times, the glamour industry.
Right.
Everything is foreign exchange. Margins are very tiny. 700 staff. How are you going to pay salary?
Right.
And so they try so many arrangements to maintain their rules, wet lease, this one. Oh, no, nothing.
The basic problem is still there.
The love of the flesh is in the blood. The love of the big company's liquidity. When you don't have the cash again, and that's what happened.
Can you give us because there was a Asman, or for current issues, Asman had a tweet talking to
the industry is in a distress.
Right.
It's in a big distress. I mean, I told you, how many? About 10 airlines, I think. Maximum aircraft we have in this country is about 40.
Wow.
For 200 million people.
Yeah.
And some of the airlines have 2 or 3 aircrafts, all struggling. Some of them can't even go. Some of them who have gone for C or D check can't bring them back because there's no dollars to bring them back.
Wow. Yeah.
So they're struggling 1 aircraft or 2 aircrafts or 1.5 aircraft and just managing. Asman, you saw this thing.
Yeah, I saw the tweets. Yeah. They were responding
now,
to.
you know I travel a lot.
Yeah, you do.
Let me tell you now.
Yeah.
I buy 3 tickets each time I'm traveling now. When I was at Abuja last week, I had 3 tickets. But I got 3 tickets because
one airline might delay your flights.
Nobody keeps the time again.
Yeah.
So they never me travel. I have 3 tickets. So the one that comes first is the one I bought. And I call my staff to just open the other ones.
Wow.
Because a lot of them have become very unreliable.
Exactly.
Unreliable.
Yeah.
You know, business is very bad. And even though they doubled airfares from about 25K to 50K, 60K, as you said during your program, you know, most of them, what happened immediately was that the non-essential travelers immediately exited.
Right, they stopped flying. Yeah.
They stopped flying. So you find those who are traveling now are those that must travel.
Right.
And then nothing also is affected all the businesses in the airport. I have people who do business in the airport as are working there, they complain.
Because less people are.
The traffic.
Yeah.
All those people thrive on the basis of what? Food traffic in the airport.
Yeah.
So as you're doing your flight, you're checking glasses, you're buying glasses, you're buying food, you're buying books, you're checking this because kill your time. But when there's no traffic, what will happen?
It impacts the businesses.
So it's a problem.
Yeah.
A problem. And it's difficult, as I said, when a free market.
Yep.
Aviation fuel is not going to come down tomorrow.
Right.
That's nothing. The best the government can do is to maybe, some other governments have done it, is remove the tax.
Yeah.
But we can't subsidize it. The subsidy even is already there.
Right.
Because the importation that is done, especially for PMS, for example, is done at what? CBN dollar.
Right.
If it's registered at so-called other rates,
And
you can imagine the problem that is there.
Yeah.
And so it's sad to see what happened to Aero. Don't be surprised down the line, shortly,
we hear all that.
we'll have 2 or 3 other airlines join it because some of them are really struggling.
All right, business analysts, oil and gas analysts, education analysts, aviation analysts, banking analysts, Chika Mbonu. Chika, thank you so much for talking to us. I appreciate your time.